Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Yeah. It's okay if you're just standing in one spot like I am right now. Otherwise, it's pretty hot. Yeah. Hydrate. No, Budweiser is not hydrating. Oh, by the way, gotta go. Kev, see if you can get a shot of the Fiddler's Poorhouse sign here. Nowhere in your life have you ever seen a $4 porn star. I'm telling you. Donald Trump is going to be showing up here any moment to join us for the show. $4 porn stars are not common. Fiddler's Poorhouse is where we're doing season 4 episode, that's okay guys, season 4 episode 15 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars, powered by WeeStream, supported by Verge Insurance Group of St. Catharines, also by Hartzell Marine and Ace Alignment. We thank them for joining us on this hot and steamy summer, July the 5th. Come on, let's go in where it's cool. Couple of animal stories. They're not really related, but animals nevertheless. Animals are always good for ratings, so every now and then we throw in an animal story. Anyway, all kidding aside, this is the season for protecting our furry friends, and we're going to be talking to Kevin Strooband from the Humane Society all about that. Also, GAMRU. Have you heard of GAMRU? They do a lot of great work. Their Marine Rescue Unit, Grimsby is what the G stands for, auxiliary means volunteers, and then Marine Rescue Unit. They do a lot of great work on Lake Ontario, protecting us against ourselves when it comes to water sports and activities and such things. So we're going to be talking to Doug Mepham from GAMRU a little bit later on in the program. And you heard of therapy dogs? You know what therapy dogs are? Well, we'll talk more about that, and you'll find out. So we are going to come back in about 30 seconds, so come on in. I do believe we have connectivity. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Kevin Jack of WeeStream, Canada's premier streaming network, there on the right-hand side of your screen. He is the executive producer of Ye Olde Programming. And another guest is going to be coming on the program today that I didn't mention during the opening. Elizabeth Ballantyne is going to be joining us. Elizabeth is the mom of the still missing Amber Lynn. She left her home this past Sunday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning at about 4:20 a.m. Left her home. She's 12 years old, and she has been missing with no word of her whereabouts since. I guess that's what missing means, doesn't it, Lee? Yeah. Nevertheless, Amber Lynn is still out there somewhere, and we're not sure where. She's a big girl for a 12-year-old girl. She's what, Kevin? 5'8" and 130 pounds. I mean, she's 12 years old. So she probably looks a lot older than she actually is. What initiated her leaving the house at 4:20 in the morning? We don't know. Anyway, we're going to be talking to her mom, Liz Ballantyne, coming up 1 o'clock-ish today on the program. Heat wave, not to be taken lightly. We were kind of kidding about it a bit on the street outside, but hydration is important. I always feel for people that work outside in these conditions. Construction workers, roofers, probably the worst I can. Roofing isn't an easy job at the best of times, let alone in weather like this. So People that are outside for any reason, for a prolonged period of time, man, you almost have to have a tank of water on your back. 29 degrees is where we are right now. The heat warning is in place for pretty much all of Niagara. The multi-day heat event continues, as you can see there, posted on Niagara 411. Hi to Nick again, by the way. Nice to be working with you. Hi, Nick's mom. Minimum temperature is 18 to 21 degrees, and you got humidity thrown in on top of that as well. Humidex 37 to 40 is what it will feel like all the way through Friday. Now, it might be a little bit cooler near the lake, but or the lakes, if you will, but not so that you'd notice. And of course, deteriorating air quality on top of that. We still get the odd smoky day, and we're going to probably get more, as it's been projected that there will be a continuous string of fires throughout Ontario and various spots in Quebec, and of course, as the wind blows, it'll be headed down our way from time to time. So the heat warnings are issued when high temperature and or humidity conditions are expected to pose an elevated risk of heat illnesses, such as heat stroke or exhaustion. All right, so don't take it lightly. And of course, all things are being discussed right now. Once again, these conditions always bring out the state of our homeless population, for cooling shelters and or shelter in general for people that are, for one reason or another, on the street. And why they're there is another whole conversation, but the fact that we have these heat conditions are cause for concern. So the odd bottle of water, if you happen to be walking around and somebody looks hot, the odd bottle of water, if you might have one kicking around, might not hurt the cause. All right. Anyway, just be careful. Keep the Beau Chapeaus on. Beau Chapeau, Niagara on the Lake. If you need a hat, go there and get one. Queen Street, downtown. A hat for whatever need you might have at Beau Chapeau Hat Shop. Kevin Neufeld and his gang will be glad, more than glad, happy, just ecstatic to help you get what you need. The first story that we're going to do today, Kevin, has Henry logged in with us?
No, still waiting to hear from Henry, but it's an interesting story that developed, in the last 24, 48 hours?
Yeah, it's very, very recent. Now, I mentioned therapy dogs. A therapy dog are dogs that meet a certain criteria as far as behavior and training, etc. First of all, it's very specific what you have to go through to be able to be a therapy dog, and what the owners have to go through. And they visit people in retirement communities, basically in homes and hospitals and things like that. And there's a very regular routine that therapy dogs and their owners go through. And there's a therapy dog out there by the name of Bella. Bella is a Saint Bernard. Bella had a letter that she wrote to, it was an open letter. And it appeared on Facebook. Bella's dad, owner, posted Bella's letter. And Bella's letter reads like this. Hello, Facebook friends. It is with great sadness to inform you that I will no longer be doing all the great work, visiting nursing homes, hospitals, libraries, preschools, retirement homes, colleges, etc., under the Therapy Tales Ontario banner. I and my handler, owner, dad, have been terminated for being a liability to the organization. The reason? Wearing a mock-up beer can in public. Now, the post goes on from Henry to say that as background, Saint Bernards have been depicted throughout history as wearing kegs of brandy, whiskey, beer kegs, or whatever, all stemming from one young 17-year-old artist from England hundreds of years ago, when he painted a drawing with two saints, Saint Bernards that is, saving a person in the Alps, and one was wearing a keg. And of course, it was originally brandy. For those of you that are aware of this sort of historical thing, the keg that was around the neck of the St. Bernards had brandy in it because it would, a snort of that would warm you right up from the inside out if you were stuck in the snow. That's the whole concept.
You know where I remember it from, Lee, growing up is the Neocitrin ads.
Yes, I'd forgotten about those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I used to see it in popular media all the time.
So now I want to. Now I want to. We have him. Okay. We'll read the letter while we have Henry with us. Henry Wojnar. I knew I'd screw it up at first. Wojnarowski is with us now. Henry, how you doing today? Can you hear us okay? Have we got you? No, we don't. We got you, but we don't have your audio. Click on your mic.
Can you get me now?
Oh, I got you now.
All right. It seems when I put my headphones on, it cuts out my audio to you.
Well, of course it does. That's how they make those things. No worries. Henry, you heard me set up this piece, by the way, about Bella writing the open letter to Facebook about the fact that she and you were terminated from doing your job from Therapy Tales Ontario. And I want to read you while you're listening, while you're here, and I want to ask you as we go through. You received a letter terminating your services immediath Now,
yeah, just yesterday. Yeah. I got it registered by UPS yesterday afternoon. Yeah.
Right. Now, and this is a volunteer thing that you and Bella do, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So here's what came to you through UPS from Therapy Tales. This letter is to inform you that your repeated actions have left the board and myself no option to terminate your team member position with Therapy Tales. The optics of image with beer cans around the collars of a therapy dog is not standard practice. I'm just sort of skimming through here. So the violation apparently that you committed was displaying alcohol containers in the facilities, posting on social media images under the alcohol banner or under the banner of TTO, and disregard for a previous email. We've explained the history of St. Bernards, and the concept of a joke or an image seems to have been lost on these people. But have you had other issues with them besides this one?
Yeah. There's been several that have been mounting up lately. This particular this incident came to light just over a week ago, as Stuart says. The email came to me, and a week ago last Thursday, that Thursday particularly was a big day. At every Thursday afternoon, Bella and I are at Hotel du Shaver. We've been doing that for years with Therapy Tales. And on that same day, that Thursday, the Niagara College summer campus visits were starting up. It was the first time. And that was from 2 to 3. So usually I'm at Shaver somewhere between 1 and 3. I was squeezing in the Niagara College visit. Plus, on top, that morning, the preschool that I go to, Feulled preschool, I've been going once a month as part of their program. Their year-end concert was that day with all the family there, and they invited Bella and I to come for the parents all to meet Bella finally. So we were there that morning, and that was just a fabulous visit. Rushed home, and on that day at Shaver, though, I was to meet the communications director, Katie Strangers, at 1 o'clock, because she wanted to finally shadow Bella and I through the hospital at Hotel Du.
Okay.
To take images. She's the communications director, to take images for their social media posts, which she did.
Right. And
for that particular time, Bella was wearing the barrel. I use discretion. I don't have the barrel on her if I'm at preschools or kids reading programs and things like that.
Yeah.
But Stuart doesn't know that. He's not even on my Facebook
page. Who's Stuart? Oh, he's the
CEO.
The CEO of Therapy Tales. Okay, all right, got it.
He is the current front man.
Yeah,
His
okay.
late wife founded, Tina Hill founded the organization
Gotcha.
in 2010.
All right, so at
She's
these other
passed
things,
on.
Bella's wearing a keg, and it's it's under the guise of a more Canadian beverage, which is beer, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, just quickly, we were at Niagara College for the visit. The barrel was still on. We had new members with their dogs at that campus visit. They saw the barrel. They were getting a kick. They took some pictures. The pictures got back to Therapy Tales, and boom, I got the next day a organization-wide email went to everyone in our organization before he contacted me, talked to me, whatever, about the alcohol situation, and we can't have that. Then a separate email to me, in addition to that, plus ordering me to take all my social media images of Bella off my posts anywhere where TTO is bannered. So that was the red line that crossed, and I didn't even respond to that email.
Okay. One of the things that he said in his letter that I didn't quite get because I don't have the background. It says one of the points in the email that you got says disregard for the email dated 23rd of June 2023 in brackets alcohol within visits. What does that mean?
That just means he saw a picture of the barrel, or somebody forwarded a picture of that barrel.
So and that was translated as you having alcohol between visits?
Well, that's the way he presented the email to everyone in our organization, plus me.
Did they think you were drinking on the job? Is that it?
That's the way it sounds, yeah.
That's the way it sounds in the letter.
Exactly.
Was that happening, to be honest?
Never.
Okay. Now, this is a volunteer position.
And plus, they've never had a complaint on this issue, and this is the first time this has come up.
You know, it seems to me, just on the surface of it, that these people are taking themselves way too seriously. This is a warm, fuzzy, fun kind of activity. These therapy dogs and their owners, such as your...
That's exactly why
it's supposed to be fun.
That's why I was so passionate about the cause and what we were doing.
Okay. Now, how is this organization funded? You and Bella are volunteers. Now, Bella had to pass some sort of a stringent test, right? Before she's allowed to be a therapy dog?
Yeah, I met Bella when she was 3.5 weeks old, back in 2016.
Yeah.
I've had dogs all my life. I immediately knew she had a exceptional temperament. I started on my own, taking her down Clifton Hill, crowds, all the environments, exposing her. And I was like the coach with the athlete, just encouraging her and just keeping her, letting her go and go stronger. And I found out about the organization. I had a lot of health issues. I had volunteer time, and I bought into it. I took ownership of this. That was back in 2016. So at 8.5 months, she was evaluated and certified through Therapy Tales, given her license and certificate, and myself. We as volunteers have to have background police checks.
Right.
Because we're dealing with the vulnerable sector.
Of course.
Sometimes dogs pass, but the people won't pass.
And since this happened just yesterday, there has been an incredible outpouring of sympathy and disbelief, frankly, about how this could have happened. And obviously, this organization has not really been familiar or heard of the old St. Bernard saga of brandy to people stranded in the snow in the Alps and places. I mean, it's a St. Bernard classic tale, if you will.
Yeah, well, Lee, honestly, you know, I still to this day go up and down Clifton Hill for my exercise, and Bella's like a kid in an amusement park. She thrives on crowds.
Yeah.
And when she was little, literally people from all around the world, I would be meeting and people would say, "Where's the barrel? Where's the barrel?" So instead of a brandy barrel that I could have bought off eBay,
a beer can.
I made a beer can, and she's the mascot at the Niagara Brewing Company because she carries the Niagara IPA.
And it's not like it's not like you're carrying a can of fentanyl around her neck. This is a legally sanctioned subject, and it's Canadian, for heaven's sake.
So what I did is I got the empty cans before they cap them, the 4 retail beers that they sell.
Yeah.
So the empty can, which is very, very pliable, I take a piece of softwood, expandable foam to fill it. It's lightweight. Now I've got 2 wooden caps on either end, a $10 collar, and a few picture hanger hardware. And she carries all 4 flavors of their beer. Mock-ups.
Mock-ups of it, yeah. All right, so that's where we are today, and obviously this has affected you psychologically, because just hearing you talk about how passionate you were about Bella's costume, if you will, this has really knocked you sideways, hasn't it?
I had several hours of sleep last night.
Yeah.
I typed 2 fingers, and I've been going constant, replying to comments and messages. Yeah.
Right. Have you heard anything further from the Therapy Tales people?
Well, that's a good question, because I've made a lot of acquaintances, friends, met other members,
Right.
past members, past directors. A lot of past members, directors have messaged me privately, but those that are in director status currently, and I've heard not a peep from them.
Henry, there are other organizations other than this one, Therapy
Of course
Tales
there are.
Ontario, that operate programs like this. I remember when I was in British Columbia, as a matter of fact, I was on the board, the advisory board of St. John Ambulance at that time. And St. John's Ambulance actually had a division that ran a therapy dog program as well. And I know you've had some requests on a personal, like on a one-on-one basis with people that operate some of these facilities that have asked you and Bella to just do it as everyday citizens because they like you to, they like your work. What are your options going forward? What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, with St. John Ambulance, back in 2016 when I was looking into this, I actually looked at their organization. I had meetings with them. They were on Church Street, and they had a big chapter, St. John Ambulance, and they had the volunteers that did it. But they folded not too long after that.
Right.
And they've regrouped much smaller under a different name. And they don't do a lot of facilities. They're very small scale. And personally, with what I do and Bella's potential, we're a greater force to be reckoned with on that kind of basis.
But you're going to continue to do this one way or the other, by the sounds of it.
No doubt.
Okay, Henry, thank you for telling your story. Give Bella a hug for us, and I don't think we've heard the last of this, but I did want to get the story out there because it's kind of one of those head shakers. We've taken something that's supposed to be fun and therapeutic by its very name, and turned it into something kind of disappointing, and that's not at all where we should be going with this. Thanks for being here, Henry. Good luck.
Yep, thank you very much.
Take care of yourself. All right.
Thank you.
People are just taking themselves too seriously in some situations there. Boy, I'm telling you there. Okay. We're going to slide into an animal-related topic, but a whole different kind of sack of hammers. Because here we are, this time of year, and we have no better time to talk about this since we have a heat wave warning in place for Niagara from now all the way through Friday. But even if we were not under the umbrella of a heat wave warning, it would not be the kind of weather to keep an animal or a child in a car without air conditioning running. Kevin Strooband is the executive director of the Humane Society of Greater Niagara. Just recently named. We chatted with Kevin a couple of weeks ago about this. Kevin, how you doing today? You all right?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, you're welcome. And there's no better day, as I mentioned, than to talk about this topic. And I wish we didn't have to talk about it because, frankly, I can't believe that there are still, I'll call them people, although I don't know if they deserve the title or not, that will leave animals in a vehicle when it's this hot. I don't get it.
It defies logic, and it does happen all the time. We really encourage people to leave their animals at home. They say, "Oh, I'm only going out for a few minutes," so they go into the store, and then they realize, "Oh, there's a sale on this or whatever," and they don't come back, and their animal's suffering. And we, in certain areas, we will take the dog out of the car, but it's mostly the Provincial Animal Welfare Service or the police. So if we get a call, we'll probably attend, but the police are coming. And if they break the window, we're going to be there as support for them to take the dog to a vet if it's still alive, which I hope it is. Although that's rare, they can certainly suffer the effects of this heat.
And there have been so many experiments done. I know the Niagara Regional Police Service has done this. The Fire Service has done this. Your organization has, in the past, has done this. Run experiments with people and thermometers inside vehicles to demonstrate how quickly that heat quotient rises in a closed-in container of any sort, and it's astronomically fast. How the temperature can go crazy.
Even with windows open, it doesn't really make a difference. The color of the vehicle can make a difference, a black vehicle versus a white vehicle.
Right.
But, there's never a proper excuse for doing this. And this almost goes one step further on days like today when it's so hot that watch your pet who's outside. Bring them inside. Some pets don't like to be inside if they're typically outdoors.
Yeah.
Provide them with suitable water, shade. Really think, what are you feeling in this weather? It's probably similar to what they're feeling, so make sure you look after them properly.
And I mean, they're wearing a fur coat. Some of them heavier coats than others. My dog, who unfortunately we lost a few weeks ago, but she loved nothing better than coming out with me in the car, and I'd roll down the windows, and she'd do the head out the window thing and whatnot. But I never ever took her out. Even with the windows open and the car running and air conditioning and everything, when this weather hit, when the summer hit, I just didn't put her in the car at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and she's covered in fur, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, she doesn't have a choice.
Absolutely. What is the possible punishment or penalty, if any, for?
So there are actually 3 levels of punishment.
Okay.
So one is the bylaw, and under the St. Catharines bylaw, if you fail to provide proper ventilation, it's around a $300 ticket. If you get charged under the Provincial Animal Welfare Services Act, which is named PAWS, and you're convicted, you can get fines in the thousands of dollars. You could theoretically go to jail. You could be banned from owning animals. And the penalties for a criminal offense, let's say the animal dies, they would be quite similar to the provincial animal welfare legislation, where you could see jail time, you could see fines and prohibitions from owning animals.
I don't really understand it. This happened. I was witness to an announcement this past Saturday night, as a matter of fact, Canada Day night, at Beaver Dams Park in Feulled. My wife and I took a couple of chairs and sat out there. It was a nice hot, no rain for a change, Canada Day night, and there was an announcement made from the stage that there was a black Chevy Sierra pickup with the windows up and a dog inside. And they said, get to your truck or we're going to smash the windows and get the dog out of there. Now, this was in the evening. The sun had gone down. It wasn't blazing hot like it is today, but it still wasn't cool by any stretch of the imagination. And I guess what I'm looking for is a message from you that it really doesn't matter. You don't need a heat warning in place to make this a bad idea.
No, so if you were in that vehicle on a Saturday night where the sun may be down, are you going to have the windows open if it's not running? Of course you are, because it's hot in there. So that's really a good bar. It is how do you feel? That is how your animal feels. And of course, that's exacerbated by the fur and other things. You can get dogs with the squish snout that can't breathe very well. So there are a number of factors that are going against the animal being in such a situation over us.
Kevin, if a member of the public, such as myself, happens to spot an animal that we believe might be in distress, should your organization be the first place we go? What is the fastest way for them to take action?
So people should, if it's an animal, let's say it's a distress that's not caused by a human, unless it's an accident, call the Humane Society. Animal hit by a car. If it's a distress where a human caused it, an animal's being beaten up, locked in a car, you're going to call the police. You can also call PAWS, which is 8339 animal. But for a dog in a car, it's better to call the police. And if it's a dog in a car, don't hesitate to call 911, because that is an emergency. This is within the police mandate, and they will respond.
That's good. That's good information, because I mean, often it's okay. Like, what's the number? Look up the number. Where do we go? Whatever. And people will sometimes hesitate to call 911 about things due to the fact that they might be deemed to be doing something wrong or breaking the law or whatever it is. But 911 is a viable action, right?
Yes, because this is a potential offense, and it's an animal that is suffering. So it's not up to the person to necessarily decide, is it suffering, isn't it? If you feel that it might be, then make the call. You know, sure, if you know the number 688-4111, dial that number. But if you're in doubt and you think that animal's going to die, don't hesitate.
Okay. Thanks for the message again. Frankly, Kevin, I wish we didn't have to talk about this. I don't want to have. I wish I didn't have to ever talk to you about this subject again, ever.
Yeah, but I fear
we do.
Probably be doing this again. And you know, it's always good to have that public service reminder, because we're not only sending a message to the people who do it, but we're sending a message to the people that don't, educating them, saying, hey, this is what to look for. You know, and what it is to look for is, you know, sometimes you'll see these pictures on Facebook where people say, my dog's listening to Barry Manilow and the air conditioning's on. He's probably fine. But most of the time when there's an animal in a car, it's not running, the air's not on.
Well, listening to Barry Manilow alone should be an infraction.
I think it
is. Kevin, on that fun note, we'll say, actually, I don't want to say goodbye yet. I want to ask you one more question.
Of course.
Give us an update about your animal population. How can we help you get another message out? Is there anything we can do while you're here?
You can. So we are in a busy time. It's summer. It's the busiest time of our year. And dogs have not taken a backseat to cats as far as being up for adoption. We have, I think, 22 longer-term resident dogs here that are up for adoption. Seems right across the province. Rabbits are a concern. So, you know, and of course cats. So rabbits, cats, or dogs, please come and see us, because we need to find these creatures homes. That's the only way they're leaving this building. So let's find the homes.
I have heard it said, and maybe you can address this fact, that the prices that are charged for adoption are too high.
That's a great question. And I think our dogs, they're around $350, maybe even $400.
For a lot of people, that's a lot of money.
It is, but basically what I'm telling you, you're a responsible dog owner. You're adopting at the Humane Society, which is great. So you're adopting this dog, you're getting it spayed or neutered, rabies shots, microchipped, and health checked, and its first vaccines for $450. So basically, you're getting that at a reduced rate, and you're getting the dog for free.
Okay. So this really is the hard costs that go into pet ownership. If you were to buy a pet from a dog breeder, for example,
yes,
you would not only pay for that very expensive dog, you would be paying these other charges on top of that.
Presuming you get the dog neutered or spayed, yes, and that's going to cost you, just that alone will probably cost you more than the price of our dog. So we can do it for less expensive. And we can get, rabies vaccines. If you go to your clinic, you're going to pay for an exam fee. and the rabies vaccine. With tax, you're paying $100. We're doing that vaccine for $25.
How other than and I realize that's not a profit-making center for humane
Not at all.
societies.
No.
How is the Humane Society funded?
So donations are a part of it.
Right.
Animal control contracts. So we have 5 contracts across Niagara, and those are a pretty significant portion of our funding. We're always looking to expand our borders in that respect.
Right.
Fundraising, we do some fundraisers. Bequests, so people who pass away and decide to help the animals in their will after they're gone, is a great one. And then the services we provide, we're also paid for that.
Okay.
So, if we let's say we provide an ambulance service, take your pet to the vet. If you're like, I can't get this dog in my car, we can do that for you.
Okay.
And people don't really realize that, but there are a lot of services that we provide outside of just adoptions.
Kevin Strooband, thank you again for joining us. And I know these messages must sometimes feel old to you, but they are our best friends after all. And
yes, and I'm glad I have the knowledge to be able to share that with you, because I've broken a window. It's on Viral Hog, I think, me busting a window or Todd busting a window. I'm filming him and taking that Frenchie out of the dog just across the street here at Golftown, and that got millions of views. The good thing is it educated millions of people. Yeah.
Well, out of tragedy often comes some good things. Anyway, thanks again for helping us pass along the message. Hope the adoptions get brisk and all the animals are okay. Does the Humane Society does the society always need food or toys or blankets or anything like that?
Yes, good question. So the biggest thing right now is cat litter.
Okay.
And towels. So if you're going to go out to Walmart, buy the biggest box you can buy for the cheapest price. That's great. We can use that. We also use wood pellets now. So if you have access to that, bring those in. We use those for litter as well. And then towels. They don't need to be brand new towels. We use them frequently. We don't want blankets or comforters or pillows or sheets. Yeah. But those things, those are kind of the staples. Kitten food, a medium to high quality kitten food is also a great thing, because we have a lot of kittens.
How is the new organization, Humane Society of Greater Niagara, going so far?
It's going pretty good. I don't know if I shared this with you, but we were called the Lincoln County Humane Society for 97 years. There's another Lincoln County Humane Society in Wisconsin, and we took everything that was branded and we shipped it to Lincoln County. They paid for the shipping, and this organization is going to rebrand as us, which is pretty cool, because
that is way cool.
They're a small organization. You can follow them on Facebook. I'm waiting to see our logo pop on their Facebook page, and I'm just happy that I could help them, because even though they're American, we're all doing the same thing.
That's really cool. All right, now I will say goodbye. Kevin Strooband, Executive Director of Humane Society of Greater Niagara. Thanks for joining us, and keeping our pets alive. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Lee. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Gail's got.
Oh, sorry. This was one of the posts that prompted us to reach out to Kevin Strooband 4 days ago here. Nick posted that police are on the scene of Montebello Park with a dog locked in a vehicle, and 233 comments, and it all unfolded in the comments. You could follow it real time. People sitting at home saying, smash the window, what have you, and eventually, before it got to that point, the owner was located, came back, a discussion was had.
I'll bet there was a discussion had. Always not pleasant for that owner when they get back to the car. A lot of people are ready to smash them as well, which is not acceptable, by the way. That would be assault. Gales Gas Bars, thank you very much for being our main sponsor of the program, continuing fueling this program as they have done to Niagara here for over the last 50 years. And it's Pride Month as well. And Gales Gas Bars is a rainbow registered company, meaning that they are a safe haven for be it race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or otherwise. And we appreciate their constant participation here in the program. Jessica Friesen, owner-operator, and her gang do just a super job here in Niagara, as does Verge Insurance Group. We appreciate their continued support as well, another born and bred Niagara company, as is Hartzell Marine. Boy, this is a busy time for them, and that is for sure. Location. It's 96 Ormond Street in Thorold. Dave DeGrave and his gang there. Niagara's only Legend Boats and Mercury Marine dealership.
And we should wish Dave a very happy birthday. Had a birthday this week.
Really?
Yeah, happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave DeGrave. Were your parents thinking of that sort of rhymey thing when they Dave DeGrave? It's got, it has some slide to it.
It's got a ring.
And of course, Ace Alignment, specializing in wheel alignments and brakes and all sorts of other automotive needs for your SUV, your truck, your car. They're also an inspection, registered inspection site for MCO requirements, etc. Go in and see Darren and Matt, the people that drive they drive everything at Ace Alignment, and they're located at 64 North Street in St. Catharines, and we thank them for jumping on board. This is, I think, the third or fourth show that Ace and Hartzell Marine have been with us on the program. So to all of our supporters here, we thank you very much. There is another organization that, in spite of the fact that it's a marine organization, I'll use an aeronautic expression, flies under the radar for a lot of people here in Niagara. The organization is GAMRU, and it stands for Grimsby Auxiliary Marine Rescue Unit. 100% volunteer marine search and rescue unit serving the South Shore, and so many things that they do nobody ever hears about. And this week I found out that they're in need of another boat. After having funded one, we talked with this gentleman ages ago in another life, in a radio interview, and it's a pleasure to bring him back on here. Doug Mepham is a unit leader at GAMRU. Doug, how are you, bud?
I'm terrific and glad to be here. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Long time no talk to, and even longer since I've seen you. My gosh, it's been decades since we grew up across the field from one another.
I had hair then, I believe.
Yeah, you did, so did I. Why do you think I wear all these cool hats?
Me too.
So, tell us a little bit, first of all, before we get into what your need is. Give us a thumbnail background sketch of what GAMRU is and what you guys do, guys and ladies do.
Yeah. Well, for more than 30 years, an ever-changing group of volunteers have provided a frontline emergency service on the South Shore of Lake Ontario. Marine search and rescue. We can be called anywhere. We don't have a patch. We don't have a territory. We can and are called from the far side of Toronto to Hamilton Harbour, the lower Niagara River to Burlington and Bronte, anywhere literally that we're needed. Mm-hmm. And we're self-funding. As a volunteer organization, we have to raise the funds for the vessels we use, the equipment, the training, all of those other things. And while we're paid a per hour fee by the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary, mm-hmm. which is sort of umbrella, we have to raise the rest of the funds ourselves. So what you see on the water, or what, to your point, you don't see on the water when you don't see us, is all member driven. And for more than 30 years, that's been the process that's kept us on the water and kept us relevant, I would think, to boaters and anybody along the lake who uses the lake for any reason. And to pick up on your point, the reason we're perhaps under the radar is we do our best work when there's nobody around, when there's nobody to see us.
Right.
And even some of the boaters that we rescue don't know we exist until we meet them on the worst day of their lives. So while we have a base on land, for the most part, all the good work we do is far out of sight.
When you and I talked last a number of years ago, you were fundraising for a pretty high-end, specialized sort of watercraft. As I understand it from some emails back and forth, that dream came through. You got the boat.
Indeed, we did. Long story, won't go through it.
Yeah.
But what the result is, in summer of 2021, we launched what we believe is a state-of-the-art 26-foot aluminum purpose-built rescue boat. It is, to our understanding, the most sophisticated boat of its kind on Lake Ontario. It has all of the expected hardware on it, all of the highest end navigation, communications equipment, terrific see-in-the-dark technology that allows you to pick people out of the water that you may not otherwise see. Communications, the latest and best trauma kits, medical equipment. All those things are now on the water. They went into service August of 2021. First full year was last year, which helped us to a record number of rescue missions in that period, 43, the most in our history. And when it was launched this year, it's now a tried and true asset.
What is this additional craft that you're seeking, or that you're trying to get some help for?
Well, we're looking for another boat, which is not unusual for us. We look for boats all the time, but this one we're looking for on land. In the past, we've had two vessels, which allowed us to be self-contained when we do our training. A great deal of what we do in training is approaching other vessels on the water. Sometimes we tow them to safety. Sometimes we take stricken passengers off of them. Sometimes we have to fight fires or pump them out. But it's always focused, or for the most part, focused on another vessel. Years ago, this organization had two vessels, and that meant we could be self-contained with training. Those vessels are gone, replaced with one new vessel, but that left a hole in the training, and now we're looking for a boat that is probably in someone's driveway somewhere, or back behind the house. It hasn't seen the water for a year or two, still in good running condition, and it's looking for a new home. And we think you can teach an old boat new tricks. We think we can repurpose this boat as a training vessel. It'll never be search and rescue ready, but it'll be a great opportunity for us to train our new people on all those key things that we do all the time. We do every day: towing, extraction, pumping out water from stricken boats. And it's as a charitable organization, we can do this as a donation. If anybody would like to donate a good, lightly used, and still capable boat, we can offer a full value tax receipt for that. So we're going to offer both an opportunity to help an emergency service train and a tax receipt, which is in most cases a pretty good deal.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to meet any specific criteria. Is there a minimum qualification or a minimum criteria that you're looking for?
More a wish listly. We'd like to, obviously, like a capable boat, ideally powered by an outboard motor that's serviceable. It doesn't have to be pretty. Be helpful if it was on its own trailer. But other than that, we can take care of the rest. We can equip it, we can paint it, we can look after electrical things. But it needs to be seaworthy and something where we can put some of our volunteers in to be the other side of that transaction, that rescue transaction. And so we're combing now. We're talking to neighbors, friends, people like your viewers, and we're hopeful that if we're going to turn up something like that, it's a community effort for a community organization.
And if somebody thinks that they might have a craft like this that you could put into service and put to good use, what's the easiest way to contact you? You know.
All the information is on our website, GAMRU, GAMRU.ca. Information is there, and that will give them a direct line to the individual who's conducting the search. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and places like that where the search is also going on. And any of those avenues will deliver you to the right people who will come and have a look at your boat and perhaps pat you on the back and give you a tax receipt and promote your boat to a better life.
Excellent. Now, I know you see a wide range in your cruise, see a wide range of different scenarios and situations on Lake Ontario, but there was one that you kind of highlighted for me and I'm interested in that has resulted in the GAMRU crew that was involved being nominated for awards, etc. What was that story about?
It's a great story, Lee, and I like to tell it because it has a happy ending. July, I believe 24th of last year was a Sunday, busy day on the water. Our crew was out training, as we do virtually every day. There's a crew on the water virtually every day all season to train and to be ready for calls.
Okay.
No calls. The boat goes back to the dock. Everybody's getting ready to go home when the alarm goes off. Not unusual for a Sunday afternoon. They're called out to what we were told at the time is 4 people floating on something off of 50 Point on the South Shore.
Okay.
It is a difficult day. There's about 20 knots. That's about 35 kilometer an hour winds, 40 kilometer an hour winds out of the southwest. There's a commensurate chop, a sea running, and a southwest wind means that it's nice and calm inside close to shore. Every meter you get farther offshore, the rougher it gets, the more difficult it gets.
Right.
Out goes the crew. They get to the position where the sighting was. Nobody there. They spot someone a mile down the lake. Off they go. The Hamilton police join the chase. And what they arrive on the scene to find astonishes them. There are 7 people on 3 paddle boards being blown out to sea, including a mother and 4 children. She has a PFD on. They do not. They're non-swimmers.
Oh my God.
Our crew, true to their training, recover all of the people. The children are frightened. They're cold. We're treating them for hypothermia. We recover their boards. What had happened was a mother and 4 children without much experience were in close to shore where they were on a beach, and unknown to them, the water drops off very quickly. So the kids were on a paddleboard, and mom was with them, and she stepped off the edge, and suddenly there's no footing. She's gone. And the wind takes them, and off they go. 2 alert paddleboarders on shore went out to help, and suddenly become part of the problem. They can't get back either.
So that's how it became 7.
Now it became 7, but it gets better. Get everybody on. Kids are crying. We get them warmed up. They're heading back, and an alert crew member spots something in the water on the route back to the dock. It is a young man in a black PFD, hard to see, waving his arms. He has been pitched off of his jet ski, knocked unconscious. The jet ski's gone, and he's in the water by himself. Nobody knows he's there. Crew goes over, picks him up, gets him in the boat, and proceeds to shore. Now, the 2 good Samaritans who came out in their paddle boards to help the original 5, has left his 5-year-old son on the shore and is now pretty exercised about that. So our people get on the phone to our crew on the shore, who goes over and finds the young man, puts him in touch with Grimsby Fire Department, who comes to the scene. And so in 106 minutes, our crew deliver 8 people who were destined to a very bad outcome home safely.
Wow.
It's a story that we love to tell because it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
And as a result, the crew have been nominated for a number of heroic awards. We don't know the results of that, but we think whatever happens, they're deserving of lots of recognition.
Well, I suppose so. That is just a prime example right there of why people should never, ever, ever take any body of water for granted, but especially one the size and the nature of one of the Great Lakes. I mean, it's crazy.
Amen.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened over COVID, Lee, was that people who were stuck at home decided they needed to get out. They wanted to vacation close to home. They bought small self-powered watercraft, kayaks, canoes, stand-up paddleboards, and it democratized boating, which was lovely. It's great. It got more people involved. The missing link was they didn't get the training they needed in safety, things like being aware of weather, all those things that an experienced mariner would do.
And you were
So
talking. Sorry, go ahead.
That missing link has created a whole lot of calls. We had quite a number of calls last year for just that kind of thing. People with no experience and all the best intentions find themselves in deep water, literally and figuratively.
And one of the things that I hadn't thought of that you mentioned off the air, so to speak, when we were going back and forth on this show, is the amount of development that has happened along the shoreline between here and Hamilton, etc., is astronomical. Some of those massive buildings that have gone up, which increases the pressure on your unit, does it not?
It increases the pressure on the whole infrastructure: police, fire, Coast Guard, all of us. And at some point, you'll probably be able to walk from St. Catharines to Stony Creek, rooftop to rooftop, along that lakeshore, and that is going to do nothing but, one, put people in closer proximity to the water, which is wonderful, and open up more opportunities to get on the water. But with that comes the peril of lack of information, lack of training, and lack of safety.
Okay, and there's another aspect to this that we could talk hours about as well, but people can find out about this on your site too. It is a volunteer organization, and if someone wants to has what they think of might be some translatable skills, etc., they can also find out how to volunteer on your website. Is correct?
Indeed, they can. We welcome volunteers. We usually recruit through the summer, into the fall. We interview prospects in the fall, and they can begin our land training, our classroom training in January. It's an ongoing process, and we don't necessarily have to have people with a marine background. Obviously, It's welcome, it's worthy, but we're happy to talk to people with the right attitude as well as the right training.
Doug Mepham is unit leader with the Grimsby Auxiliary Marine Rescue Unit, GAMRU for short. Hopefully this won't be the last time we chat on the program. Doug, thanks for being here, and good luck with your boat search. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity, and we'll let you know as soon as we have it.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
The stuff that goes on that you never find out about. There's something else right there that you need to be aware of, is the targeting of impaired operation of water vehicles is as stringent as automotive on land. You're not supposed to be having open alcoholic beverages in a boat unless the boat has a permanent washroom, a permanent kitchen, is moored at a dock or anchored, etc. There's no loophole that allows you to indulge in drinking alcohol while any boat, is in operation, is in motion. All right, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Lee, want to put out some kudos to the City of St. Catharines combining with Hydro One. I think GAMRU had it on their site as well, alerting residents to the fact that, not this week, last week, they gave away life jackets.
Oh.
They were giving away, I think, 300 or 400. You just had to register ahead of time. So last Thursday, our family and I all went down, got properly fitted, and got a brand new set of life jackets for myself, for Leanne,
awesome,
and the two kids, and all due to the generous donation from Hydro One through the coordination of the City of St. Catharines.
Excellent.
So thank you very much for that, and I would encourage people. I wanted to find out, I grew up boating all the time. I know you grew up around water.
Yeah.
I want to find out what were like the most avoidable mistakes that boaters make. But he's so true. So many people get behind the wheel of a boat and really have no idea what they're doing.
No clue.
One thing people don't understand, Lee, there's no brakes on boats. And people don't really get that. Like, okay, if you're going quick and there's something there that you want to avoid, you can't slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
There's no stop on boats. The only thing you can do is hit reverse. That's how those great big. There aren't even any brakes on ocean liners. They don't have brakes. And
that's how they smash into bridges and piers and things like that.
And you heard Doug, when we were chatting with him, refer to PFDs. That's sort of cool kid talk for personal flotation device. In other words, life jackets. And how how a mom takes 4 kids in any level of water out on a couple of paddle boards without life jackets or personal flotation devices. There's kind of an IQ test required here. Really.
I have no clue, and unfortunately, we hear that story way too often.
Yeah.
Way too often about non-swimmers that are caught out. I'm like, I don't know if I was a non-swimmer. I don't know how far I'd go in. I don't know if I'd go past my knees.
You shouldn't even have little kids in a pool without those things on.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely. Lee, just want to update the program here. We are waiting for Elizabeth Ballantyne,
Yes.
who's the mother of Amberlynn Kearns, the 12-year-old who has been missing since Sunday morning. I'm just texting back and forth with her. She's on the phone with Hamilton Police. So once she wraps up whatever they are doing as part of their ongoing investigation, she's going to hop on with us and we'll fill in some of the details.
Okay, and in the meantime, I'm going to take the opportunity once again to say this is season 4. We've been going a while with this program now because of summer obligations and scheduling, etc. We went from weekly to bi-weekly, and come September we might ramp things up a little bit more often when everybody's lives are a little bit more simple. But we'll see what that happens. But in the meantime, it's still a very, very well received program. Season 4, episode 15. Of this program, fueled by Gales Gas Bars and supported by Verge Insurance Group Limited. Also, Ace Alignment and Hartzell Marine are our newest sponsors. It's so happy to have you at the party. Kevin Jack is the executive producer of this program, his brainchild about 4 years ago. As well as the co-founder, along with Brandon Scram, of WeeStreem, Canada's premier streaming service, and that's kind of a simplistic way to put it. And I know you're busy going back and forth with Elizabeth, Kevin, but WeeStream's been pretty busy over the last little while as well. You guys have had your cameras full, so to speak.
Yeah, very much so. I'm trying to pull up something here, Lee, because again, we're just waiting. So on Monday, a week ago Monday, we were up at Sean O'Sullivan Theatre, Brock University, to live stream and broadcast the DSBN Academy Grade 12 graduation. We've been doing this with the DSBN Academy since I think 2016, 2017, and it's so great to be there. It's so great to see the smiles on these kids' faces, having achieved a lifelong goal, the graduation of high school, find what they're going to tackle next, hear the valedictorian speeches, and things like that. So I'm just trying to pull that up, just so you know. Liz is just hopping into the green room now.
Excellent.
And let me see if I can get the link here for you, because I want to show you some of that.
Okay.
We do a very good job, and I'll be approaching DSBN in the fall. I'm going to give them the summer off. I'll approach DSBN in the fall about, just a second here, about seeing if we can stream some of the other high schools.
Because the cool thing about this is they're there forever. These events that WeeStream does are archived and available and accessible 24/7 in perpetuity for the rest of your life, or your children's lives, or your whatever. You can look back and relive it. You can go look at it a gazillion times. You can send the link to friends and family that may have missed the original stream, and they get a chance to watch it over and over again. I mean, stuff like that for grandparents and relatives, etc., are amazing. Weddings and things like that. Okay, there's a little bit right
here
there.
We go, and that's Jennifer
Moore.
Yeah, Jennifer Moore. And there you go. That's Sean O'Sullivan Theatre. People may recognize it. Just wrapping up a musical performance here. Let me just skip over.
As the sun sets on.
Okay, so there you go. Trying to actually
And believe
skip through
me,
to some of the grads.
Believe me, to do a professional stream such as you're watching here, just on this Live with Lee Sterry program, it's more than just hanging on to a cell phone and hitting record. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, look at that shot. It looks like you've got a drone up there. Then you've got a nice close-up shot down below. So,
yeah, thank you, Lee, for squeezing that in.
Very cool.
Well, let's move along.
Okay. A mystery that we wish was not continuing is continuing. Amber Lynn has been missing since 4:20 a.m. this past Sunday. On July 1st, Saturday night, approximately 10 o'clock, Amber Lynn Kearns was last seen at her residence. That is a little misleading.
Yeah, there was an update since then. That was the initial.
Yeah, that was the initial release in the Upper Ottawa Lime Ridge Road East area. And Amber Lynn left her home of her own accord. And this original post, of course, says police are concerned for her well-being, as is her mom, of course, Elizabeth Ballantyne. Amber Lynn's 12 years old. She looks older than her years. She's 5'8", 130 pounds, and cute girl, and is missing. Her mom, Liz, is on the line. Have you got us okay there, Liz?
I believe so.
Okay. We can see and hear you, so that's fine. All right, so this is a parent's kind of worst nightmare, is to not know where their child is, no matter what the reason. But in this case, Amber Lynn, as we understand it, left of her own accord, left her home 4:20 a.m. We're breaking up here on our monitor. I don't know if that's just my monitor or not, Kevin. But can you still hear me, Liz?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a monitor problem here, but that's okay. I can still chat with you. Okay, so 4:20 a.m. Sunday, Amber Lynn leaves the house. How did you know it was that time?
We believe to have footage, and we since have discerned from other footage in the survey that wasn't her. So that we know the last time I seen her was 11:30 Saturday night.
Oh.
And she wasn't in bed 8:30 Sunday morning.
All right, so this 4:20 Sunday a.m. thing that we were talking about is that is kind of a red herring as well. That's not what we believe happened.
Well, we believe somewhere in between that, like between the 10:30, 11 to about 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
It looks like in the dead of the night sometime, I believe. Yeah, and she left behind her cell phone and her medication that she takes. So, like, that's just concerning for me because she was like in a hospital for some mental health issues that she had at McMaster. And she's a kid that has taken medication in the past and was actually with taking medication. It's something really has me concerned that she would not only leave her cell phone, which we know is every preteen girl's lifeline, but her medication as well. So we're just very concerned for like where did you go overnight? Who are you with? How did you like disappear into thin air, kind of?
Sounds like
there's been.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's been a few small, like maybe sightings or something, but nothing's turned up to be that. And like we just hope any leads, anyone who thinks it could be her, like still keep calling and still keep making sure, right? Because we don't want something to go unnoticed.
Was there anything going on in particular over the weekend, Saturday night or into Sunday morning or whatever? Any incident or situation that she would have bolted from? Because it sounds
not really that we know.
Pardon?
Know of not really that we know of. We went to the festival, we had some lemonade, she hung out with her two best friends, and then came home and watched some TV together, and then like we went to bed, and like there was no arguments or fights or like no indication that she didn't want to be at home or she wanted to be like somewhere else. So it's really tough to like not know, like where, like it's been like 86 hours, and I'm like, where?
Yeah.
Like, how are you not hungry? Where have you gone? What are you doing, right? And
is there another influence?
I just hope, like, I just hope if she is somewhere with someone, I hope they see this and they see, like, you know, like she's a young girl and she needs to come home and make sure that, like, she's okay okay and she's taking her medicine, right?
Is there any other influencer out there, another adult figure, or like is there a somebody else in her life that she might have wanted to be with?
So, like, her dad and I are not living together, but she has access to go see him. So if she wanted to, she'd be like, I'm going to dad's, and
Right.
it's so hard to think, like, where did you go? And, like, anyone who knows us knows, like, she's just not, like, the type of kid that would just take off and, like, not bring her cell phone or not, like, when we're at home, she'll be like, Mom, can I go play basketball in the driveway? She's that kind of kid that just, like, plays sports and kind of just regular, everyday, good kid,
So this is not typical behavior for her. She hasn't run away from home before?
No, she's never run away from me in the past. Like, she doesn't even usually stay mad at me for longer than an hour before she's like, hey, Mom, sorry about that,
Yeah.
And, like, we argue. She's a teenager, but she always, like, comes back around and she's like, sorry, I shouldn't have been like that, and just, so for me, it's, like, so shocking, and I'm sure for everyone who loves her dad and everyone, right? Like, we just want to, like, make sure that she's okay and she's able to make the right choices, because it's, like, a scary world out there, and we want to make sure, like,
yeah,
that she's safe, right?
And you said she hung out and had some fun at the festival with her friends, and she's obviously not with them, or you would have known where she is.
Yeah, like, and then both boys she's known since they were, like, born, and, like, I'm good friends with their moms, and, like, yeah, if she took off to their house, they'd be like, you could stay here, but you got to call your mom.
Right.
And yeah, I hope that maybe someone just hasn't watched the news and, like, she's crashing there, and I don't know, right? But, like, I feel like any parent would at this point be like, Amber, you gotta, like, call and make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, Kevin mentioned that while we were waiting for you to join us on the program today, that you were in communication with the police again. Are you at liberty to talk to us about what they're doing, or what any state
Just
of their
bugging them
investigation
every
is?
day. Just bugging them like I do for updates, and just making sure, not that they're not doing their job, because they are, like, fantastic. Just, as a parent, you just worry, and you want to make sure, and you want to check in, and
Right.
you want to make sure that everything's being done right. And I honestly think, like, they're trying to do the best they can to make contact and, like, find Amber and locate her for us.
One of the things that Kevin and I were talking about before we went on the air today was the fact that in these situations, for some reason, the criteria is not met to issue an Amber Alert, which is province-wide system, as you know, for alerting people to missing children.
Yes.
But for the reason that I mentioned of not meeting the criteria, Amber Lynn was not the subject of an Amber Alert. No such alert was issued. And in my humble opinion, it's a situation like this that kind of falls through the cracks of the system. And it seems to me that this would be a primary reason to issue an alert to look for your daughter.
Yeah. So I guess the narrow part of that is that they have to have, like, a clear look that the person has been abducted. And so I guess you could say we don't know she is for sure, but we also don't not know for sure.
No.
So that's what I just keep saying to them, is that, like, you're right, we don't know that she was, but we don't know that she wasn't. So, like, I just...
Right. I mean...
kind of pressing for that, right?
It seems to me that the word abducted gets in the way. Whether she was abducted or not abducted, she is a minor and she's missing.
Yeah, and that's what I keep saying, and that's why I was like, if we're not able to get that Amber Alert, I'm just gonna try to get, like, the message out there that we're here, that we're looking, we need her to come home, and we want everyone to just keep their eyes out and
All right.
try
Well,
to,
that's why
make sure.
that's why we reached out to you, so that we can get the word out to the tens of thousands of people that do watch this program. And is there a special contact number or place set up, website, whatever, that to go to if anybody has any information?
I just if you see Amber and you have a tip, either call 911 or call the sergeant at the desk. And I think the number is let me look. Can I look at my?
Absolutely.
All right, let me just look.
Now, this is the Hamilton police that are handling this situation, correct?
Yeah. So
I mean, I could throw it up here too, Liz, but Crime Stoppers is also a viable option, which is 1-888-222-TIPS, I believe. I'll throw it up on the screen.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the desk sergeant is 905-546-3886.
All right. Any idea what she was wearing when she left? I guess you said you'd gone to bed, so she was probably dressed in bed clothes to go to bed, or so she could be wearing anything right now.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get.
Don't worry about it. We'll put it up.
Yeah. So because she was gonna leave for camp on Monday morning, we had packed up for about 10 days in a suitcase.
Oh.
So when I noticed she was missing from the house, I noticed the things that she had taken were from the suitcase. So she just has like a couple of pairs of track pants that are dark, and a pair of shoes I know that are like Air Force Ones, white.
Yeah. Okay. Kev?
Yeah, Liz, just want to ask you a question here. I was just looking online, and CHCH had done a piece, maybe within the last 24 hours, what have you, that featured some surveillance video that they thought was Amber, but maybe that's not accurate. Can you clarify
Yeah,
that?
that was the video that a different camera caught more clear.
Yeah.
And we seen that it was someone who definitely looks similar, but is not actually her.
And that was the one that's the one that led us to believe that it was 4 o'clock-ish on Sunday morning. That was that video you're talking about?
Yeah, and that's kind of what opened the window now from like the 10:30 to the 8:30.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I can't think of anything else that would be worse for a parent than not knowing where their child is.
Yeah.
And if they're okay. I'd like to say I know how you feel, but I don't, thank God. And we hope that this has a favorable conclusion, this story. But and I know everybody's working hard, but we'll all keep our eyes and ears open. And boy, I hope you find your daughter and she's safe and sound and all is well, Liz. I really do.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
And thanks to everyone who helps out. Honestly, the support has been really great.
And keep us informed. I know we'll have other ways to find out, but let us know if there's anything else we can help you with. And well, we'll pray for you. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take
Elizabeth, bye. Elizabeth Ballantyne, mom of Amber Lynn, went missing sometime between 11:30-ish Saturday night and 8 o'clock Sunday morning, July 1st into July 2nd. Okay, Kevin, I don't know. I'm without speech. I don't know how parents deal with things like that.
I'm with you. It's got to be the worst thing, not knowing. And,
Just
I think we've done a commendable job, Lee, here on this program, trying to help families in those situations.
I think we have.
We've had the family of Nicholas Adamson on the show numerous times. Still
missing.
Still missing.
Unaccounted for.
It's
There was over the weekend as well. There was a fellow went missing, unfortunately deceased. This was the 12 Mile Creek story that you might have been hearing about. We reached out to his wife a little too early for her, but she's going to join us in a couple of weeks, and we'll find out more about how she's doing.
Yeah, that was the. Gosh, it's too bad that there's more than one of these stories, Lee.
I know.
That was Liam had gone missing, and unfortunately they found his body, I think, on Canada Day over the 4th Avenue Bridge there. And the other was the industrial accident.
Yeah, that's the one that the lady was going to be joining us perhaps
I
today.
think she'll come on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I was very happy to see how warmly received our interview was last week with Natty. Sepulvera.
Yeah, a lot of folks like
Yeah, a
that
lot of
conversation.
people. It's so great to see, I'll use the big word, the juxtaposition between the interview when we spoke with her in January after Ryan Conklin had passed in the Sonics explosion versus talking to her now with Ryan's Cafe open there in Port Weller East and the smile on her face.
Yeah,
and,
keeping the dream alive, and it was a wonderful tribute to her husband and her fiance, and just an outpouring of support for people like that as a result of our conversation on the show. So that was just great. This is just about wrapping it up. We're getting very close to wrap up time for season 5 or season 4, episode 15. Niagara 411 live with Lee Sterry, Gales Gas Bars. Thank you, Virgin Insurance. Hartzell Marine, Ace Alignment, and the websites for these places are so easy. You don't even have to look them up. HartzellMarine.com, AceAlignment.com, Gales.ca, and VirginInsurance.com. See, if you keep it simple, it works.
Lee, I got a couple of things here. Just before we wrap up the show, we're going to play a brand new single from James Blonde. And
yes.
What's the title of that?
The title of that is "Say What You Want."
It is awesome, and the video is very cool. But I don't know why James Blonde hasn't broken through the mainstream yet.
We've had them on a couple of times.
This is the song that may do that, but I got to buy myself time. I got to go put up the camera there that shows that wonderful streetscape.
That's quite all right.
And in the interim, I came across this week online. And, Las Vegas, they can throw billions of dollars at places where people could otherwise throw millions. And this is the brand new MSG Sphere. I don't know if you saw this video at all, but this is the exterior of a building.
Okay. Oh, right. I just actually caught a piece of this video this morning as I was scrolling through online things. That's the exterior of a building. There you go. Hello, world. Fascinating stuff. A lot of other seeing these effects reminds me as well an awful lot of really well choreographed fireworks displays around Niagara over the weekend as well. And yes, there were some people in local neighborhoods, our neighborhood included, not moi, but some that were setting off fireworks of their own, which of course is not legal. But it happens. It happens all the time. Sometimes it happens even when there aren't anything to celebrate. People just buy stuff and make them blow up. But yeah, that's fascinating stuff. What people are doing with special effects and in entertainment venues, etc. It's truly, truly amazing. It's amazing, Kevin, what we can do with our own computers. And I mean, I'm a computer idiot, and even I can do some stuff that you go, wow, how did you do that? Unlike WeeStreem, of course, which are exactly the opposite of computer idiots. They do great work, and Kevin, I wish we were doing this every week because I miss working with you. But when we do work together every couple of weeks, it's awesome, and I'm so glad that WeeStream is doing well. And folks, it's hard to describe exactly. If there are any limitations on what they can do for you. If you have an event, if you have anything, be it wedding, be it, we saw the graduation, DSBN Academy. They did a volleyball tournaments, volleyball championships not long ago. You were up at CFB Trenton for a big sporting weekend. So if there's anything that you're thinking of that you would normally send invitations to, or you would like people to be able to experience by showing up, anything that falls into that category, WeeStream is where you want to go. You're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for something, and you really don't think people are going to actually come to you, you can go to them via WeeStream. So
Hang on, Lee. Thanks very much. Let's get to this song, man. It is so good.
we're going to do it now?
Yeah.
You're
so
going
good.
to say goodbye to me already? I guess it's time. All right, James Blonde, back on the program. Thanks for being here for Season 4, Episode 15 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Keep contributing to Niagara 411 as well. Nick's doing a great job. Busy guy, and it's a pleasure to be around him as well. James Blonde, say what you want. Have yourselves a great weekend. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. All right? Stay safe out there. Bye.
Well, that's it. You got me figured out. Go on and run to your friends. Go on and talk about the things that you see and what you believe. And now you're acting like you're better than me. I said, oh, go on and take a seat. So say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Say what you want, I can't get enough. Say what you want, oh, I can't get enough. It's kind of fun to go a little wild. You wanna try sometime and wonder like a child. I got my hands in the air, the feeling is there, and everybody's looking at you, starting to stare. I said, oh, I think you know the line. So say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Say what you want, oh, I can't get enough. And say what you want, oh, I can't get enough. Say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Believe the hype and the buzz, the noise and the fuss. I'm shaking in a little bit of fairy dust. I said go. Is that all you got? So say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Say what you want, I can't get enough. And say what you want, oh, I can't get enough. Say what you want about me, I can't get enough. Say what you want about me, I can't get enough.
This song thrashes. Got a nice little guitar solo there. Like this is
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, I'll listen to it later, though.
no. If a different established artist did that, it would be on the radio.
Looks like we ended the show on time, too.